Hey everyone, it's George from Blockchain DXB and today's the 23rd of March 2023. And yesterday, guys, Federal Reserve Chair Jerome Powell did announce the interest rate hike of 25 basis points. And I was under the impression if the interest rate hike is 25 basis points, the prices of Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies might pump up to the roof. Unfortunately, that has not happened. As a matter of fact, the prices of Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies have marginally fallen down. So in today's episode, we'll definitely go ahead and revisit what Jerome Powell announced. And to be honest, guys, I wouldn't be surprised if the prices of Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies relatively stay stable. But once again, all price predictions are 100% right 50% of the time. Now in today's episode, we'll also discuss Hyperbitcoinization, and is that a possibility in the next 90 days? And few days ago, guys, I did talk about Balaji Srinivasan, who's expecting Hyperbitcoinization and that he has put a heavy bet that the prices will reach $1 million by 90 days. So we'll definitely go ahead and explore what is Hyperbitcoinization and if that is a possibility. Now regarding SEC, we have some update as well. And look at the timing of it, guys. Federal Reserve Board announces a lower interest rate hike, and immediately on the same day, SEC has gone after Coinbase and also after Justin Tron, who's the founder of Tron. So we'll definitely go ahead and explore what that news is all about. And guys, if you're in the world of cryptocurrencies and social media, I'm pretty much sure that you're using Telegram. And the news is that Telegram did announce USDT stablecoin payments on Tron network. Now to be honest, I tried to use it, but unfortunately it wasn't working on my Telegram platform. So really I'm not sure if this is only location based at the moment, but we'll definitely go ahead and explore that news in today's episode. And guys, like we do in every Crypto and Coffee Day podcast, we're going to be looking at two news from Dubai, UAE and the Middle East. And the first news is about Amy Wiz, and they have inked a partnership with Polyswarm for the Middle East. And the second news is a Switzerland-based digital asset bank called Signum, and they have opened its Middle East hub all the way in Abu Dhabi. So we'll definitely go ahead and explore that news in today's episode. So quite a lot to cover, so let's kick start with it right away. Welcome to the Crypto and Coffee at 8, the daily podcast that keeps you up to date on all latest developments in the world of cryptocurrencies, blockchain and NFTs. Join us Monday to Friday as you kick off your day with a cup of coffee and a deep dive into the exciting and rapidly evolving world of digital assets. We'll cover the latest news and trends in the cryptocurrency and blockchain space, as well as delve into the growing world of NFTs or non-fungible tokens and Metaverse. Plus, we'll keep you updated on the latest developments from Dubai, UAE and the wider Middle East region. Whether you're a seasoned crypto enthusiast or just getting started, Crypto and Coffee at 8 has something for you. Our expert host will provide insight and analysis on the most important topics in the industry and help you stay up to date on the latest developments. We'll bring you interviews with leading figures in the crypto and blockchain space and explore the ways in which these technologies are changing the world around us, from the impact on traditional financial systems to the potential for revolutionizing industries and transforming societies. We'll cover it all on Crypto and Coffee at 8. So tune in and join us for a daily dose of Crypto and Coffee at 8, and let's stay ahead of the curve together. We'll start your day off right with the most important news and insights from the world of cryptocurrency, blockchain and the Metaverse, and help you navigate this exciting and rapidly evolving landscape. In Crypto and Coffee at 8, the daily podcast covers the latest developments in the world of cryptocurrency, blockchain and the Metaverse. We'll also bring you updates on the latest news from Dubai, UAE and wider Middle East region. This also includes a range of topics such as developments in the local and blockchain industry, including new projects and initiatives, regulatory updates and policies related to cryptocurrency and blockchain in the region, local and regional events and conferences focused on crypto and blockchain, interviews with leading figures in Dubai, UAE and Middle East crypto and blockchain community, coverage of any significant news or events related to cryptocurrency and blockchain in the region. By covering these local and regional developments, in addition to the wider world of cryptocurrency and blockchain, Crypto and Coffee at 8 aims to provide a comprehensive overview of the industry and its impact on the Dubai, UAE and Middle East region. Now before we kickstart today's episode, I have an important message, so check this out. Firstly guys, Startup OI is global one tech platform for tech. It offers global high-paying tech jobs with flexibility in working time and location, global free tech events, and tech networks to connect with global like-minded engineers. A brilliant platform to listen to the tech experts in Metaverse and to grab their insights. Now listen, all you have to do is download the app Startup OI. If you're using an Android version, go to Google Store and App Store for iOS devices. Alternatively, you can also click on the show notes below to download Startup OI. Next, guys, listen, if you're into fitness, if you're into adventure, if you want to do something wild but still want to keep your health in check, there is a new podcast in town, a podcast focusing on obstacle course race in the Middle East. The podcast is called the Race-Pace Podcast. So check out the Race-Pace Podcast across all leading platforms. And the Race-Pace Podcast is a peer-to-peer community-driven podcast where they talk all about obstacle course race in the Middle East, from Sandstorm to Spartan Race, from Tough Mudder to Desert Warrior Challenge, and also the Government Gov Games, and quite a lot more. The podcast has interviews with athletes locally and internationally to get inside scoop on how athletes prepare for obstacle course race. In the podcast, they also talk about interesting stories on why they are motivated to do obstacle course race. And that's not all. They also plan to release 7 NFTs. And these NFTs are no ordinary. These NFTs will represent every emirate in the UAE. And listen, guys, these NFTs are going to be absolutely massive. So do one thing, go to Spotify, go to iTunes, go to any leading podcasting platform and search for Rise in the Obstacle Course Race podcast. And finally, guys, not your keys, not your crypto. If you have dabbled with cryptocurrencies and now are seriously getting to protect your cryptocurrencies, there is no better way to protect it by using a hardware wallet. And this is where Ledger Wallet kicks in. And Ledger Wallets are hardware cryptocurrency wallets made by Ledger, a company headquartered in Paris, France. And Ledger's hardware wallets are multi-currency wallets that are used to store private keys for cryptocurrencies offline. And Ledger offers 2 hardware wallets, the Ledger Nano and Ledger Nano X wallets. They are world-class experts with extensive crypto security backgrounds. They continuously look for vulnerabilities in Ledger products in a constant effort to improve the level of security. Now, in today's world, securing these digital assets is a critical challenge, and this is where Ledger kicks in. So click the link below to buy your hardware wallet and support this podcast. It is a brilliant way to support this podcast. So what are you waiting for? The link is in the show notes below. Now, guys, since we've taken care of that, let's kickstart by looking at the global cryptocurrency market. Now, yesterday at roughly around 2:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, Jerome Powell did announce the interest rate hike. And what I tend to do is, guys, 3 to 4 hours before the announcement, I tend to look at the price of Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies. While he's giving the announcement, I tend to look at it. And 3 to 4 hours after the announcement, I tend to look at it as well. Now, I was under the impression that once he announces the 25 basis points, the prices of Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies will pump up. Unfortunately, 3 to 4 hours after that, the prices of Bitcoin and other cryptocurrencies started to go down. Now, as of today, the global cryptocurrency market is at $1.16 trillion, and since the last 24 hours, it is down by 1.28%. The total crypto market volume of the last 24 hours is $67.14 billion, and since the last 24 hours, there has been an increase of 7.45%. The total volume in DeFi, guys, is not looking good at all. It is down to $5.95 billion. And look, guys, via LinkedIn, I'm seeing so many posts that DeFi is going to change the world and DeFi is the future of finance. Unfortunately, they are not looking at the numbers, and the numbers since 2022 is looking absolutely terrible, particularly in the world of DeFi. Now, the total value locked has once again gone down below the $50 billion mark, and as of today, it is $49.47 billion. The Lido is still dominating with 21.21%, and the total value locked is $10.49 billion. Now, DeFi unfortunately accounts for a lesser percentage of the total crypto market volume. As of now, it is 7.69%. And look, guys, when cryptocurrency goes mainstream, and based on what Jerome Powell was discussing, I really am not sure if it might happen in a decade's time or maybe longer. At that time, the volume of DeFi should ideally account for maybe 30 to 40% or even higher percentage of the total crypto market 24-hour volume. As of now, it is less than 10% at 7.69%. Now, speaking of total value locked, MakerDAO is number 2 and $7.75 billion is locked in this protocol, followed by Aave at $5.65 billion, Core Finance at $4.65 billion, and finally Uniswap at $3.71 billion. Now, the volume of stablecoins is definitely not looking good either. It is at $61.40 billion, and stablecoin is accounting for 91.44% of the total crypto market 24-hour volume. And look, guys, I've been saying this time and over again, at least for the past few years, in an idealistic world, the volume of stablecoins should be ridiculously low, but When you look at the stable coins, two metrics are really scary. One, it accounts for a higher percentage of the total cryptocurrency market volume, and the volume is low as well, which just means that stable coins is utilized much more than DeFi, much more than Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies. And this is an absolutely big no, because what it will do is it will give motivation for central banks to easily advertise and promote central bank digital currencies. Now, as of today, stablecoin accounts for 91.44% of the total crypto market volume, and the number is only $61.40 billion. And out of the volume of $61.40 billion, Tether USDT accounts for $48.43 billion, Circle USDC at $6.48 billion, and finally Binance USD at $5.44 billion. Now let's look at the market cap, 24-hour trading volume and dominance between Bitcoin and Ethereum. Bitcoin's market cap is staying steady, well over the $500 billion mark, and it is currently at $535 billion. Ethereum is down to $215 billion. Since the last 24 hours though, the trading volume hasn't changed. Bitcoin's trading volume is $31.4 billion and Ethereum's 24-hour trading volume is $12.4 billion. The dominance is looking relatively the same, which is really strange because Bitcoin's dominance is 46.10%, Ethereum's dominance is 18.50%. And look guys, every Mondays, CoinShares and Glassnodes, they tend to provide a weekly insight. It's going to be really crucial and critical to see what is the data that they have for this week. Now granted, because this week's information has definitely changed, it will not give us information about what the price predictions would be, but it's definitely going to be really interesting to see what the numbers are. So keep an eye out on Glassnodes and CoinShares. They tend to provide a weekly insight every Monday. Now in today's episode guys, I'm going to be looking at the market cap of smart contracting platform and privacy coins, and surprisingly privacy coins have been doing ridiculously good. Monero's market cap is $2.81 billion, followed by Mask Network at $411 million and Zcash at $388 million. So since the last 24 hours, looks like the privacy preserving protocols have definitely pumped up so far as the market cap is concerned. Now let's look at the smart contracting platform's market cap. Ethereum is $215 billion, followed by Binance BNB at $51.53 billion and Cardano at $12.97 billion. And guys, yesterday I was speaking to a good friend of mine called Steve, and we were discussing about fitness, and he actually sent me a message that Cardano is having a massive event in November in 2023. Now, as and when this news develops, I'll definitely go ahead and give out more information. How Ethereum had a developer conference earlier in this month in Dubai, looks like Cardano is also having an event in Dubai, and if you're a massive fan of Cardano and ADA, you definitely need to check it out. Now guys, let's look at the king of all kings. The price of Bitcoin has actually fallen down, and it is currently at $27,692, and since the last 24 hours, it is down by 1.66%. Since the last 7 days, it is up by 12.05%. Now guys, when Jerome Powell was announcing the interest rate hike, none of the questions had to do with Bitcoin, cryptocurrencies or digital assets. If Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies was a massive deal, I'm pretty much sure one of the reporters would have bought that thing up. They could have bought it up either in a positive way or in a negative way, but looks like cryptocurrencies were completely shut down in the topic. Now Ethereum is at $1,759. Since the last 7 days, it is down by 1.75%, and since the last 24 hours, it is down by 1.75%. Since the last 7 days, it is up by 6.22%. Binance Coin or BNB is at $326. Since the last 24 hours, it is down by 1.33%. Since the last 7 days, it is up by 2.32%. Now look guys, yesterday was very critical, and I was really hoping that if Jerome Powell announces the interest rate hike of 25 basis points, I was under the impression that the price of Bitcoin might cross the $30,000 mark, and I was hoping that the global cryptocurrency market in the next few days crosses the $1.50 trillion mark. Unfortunately, Jerome Powell did actually announce the interest rate hike of 25 basis points, but what he said during the interview was absolutely critical, and in that interview, he actually discussed the banking crisis in the US. Despite it being failing, the Federal Reserve Board did actually increase it to only 25 basis points. Now look guys, the banking industry is doing absolutely catastrophic, particularly since the last 2 weeks. Now what I'd really recommend you to do is guys, go to YouTube, subscribe to the Federal Reserve Board channel, and make sure that you look at information from the first source, because Jerome Powell did actually go live, and he was live for roughly around 40 odd minutes or so. But when he announced the interest rate hike, he actually gave the reasoning as to why he's increasing the interest rate hike. He very specifically mentioned that the inflation numbers are definitely picking up pace, which is not ideal, but at the same time, the Federal Reserve Board is definitely doing all it can in order to protect investors and average individual people from the banking collapse. And the Federal Reserve Board and the FDIC, I believe they have printed roughly $300 billion in order to protect the banking industry and in order to protect the investors and average people. Now, if you look at it from an overall picture, this definitely does seem like a good move, because if that does not happen, people are going to lose a lot of money. Now, granted, once that thing happens, the prices of Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies will go up. But as an individual, we should definitely not be hoping that people lose a lot of money. So what has happened is that he actually explained the inflation numbers. He also went ahead and explained that the labor market and supply conditions are looking really good in US. Now listen guys, if you're listening to any rumors about recessions and people getting laid off, unfortunately based on this data, it does look like fake news. So what I'd really recommend you to do is, if you want to do your own research, go to the Bureau of Labor Statistics website and look at that information. Now granted, some of the tech firms are making people redundant, but this will definitely not lead to recession, at least for now. But in the next 90 days, if there is a bank run on all the other banks in US, there is a possibility that we might be heading towards recession. Now going back to what Jerome Powell was saying, that he along with FDIC are currently trying to work in helping in saving the banking industry. And in that interview, they also discussed the impact of Credit Suisse and how UBS is actually helping Credit Suisse, and a lot of the banking industry from US are also connected with Switzerland Bank. So once again guys, the interest rate hike is 25 basis points, but what he said in the interview unfortunately does not give some positive outlook for the Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies. It just actually tells you what the Federal Reserve Bank is going to do in order to protect the banking industry. And if you look at it once again guys, from a third person's point of view, you should definitely appreciate what they're doing. Now if you're a Bitcoin maximalist, if you're a cryptocurrency enthusiast, what you're hoping for is the banking industry to collapse. You're hoping for people to go completely bankrupt, lose a lot of money, and the only reason is, if that thing happens, you're hoping that the price of Bitcoin would pump up and you can make a lot of money, and that is absolutely selfish and definitely not ideal. Now regarding the news of Federal Reserve Board and FDIC helping the banking industry, the Republicans are requesting the Fed and FDIC oversight records for the failed Silicon Valley Bank and Signature Bank. Now CNBC has provided an article. So what the article states is that top Republicans in charge of overseeing the US financial system have requested documents and personal records from the Federal Reserve and FDIC related to the oversight of two banks that failed recently, and the lawmakers want to know about the lack of prudence in bank risks and balance sheet management, and regulators' lack of supervision and enforcement of safety and soundness rules. And Congress, guys, is seeking more information about how the second largest bank collapse in US history unfolded earlier this month, which saw Silicon Valley Bank and Signature Bank fail. And guys, reports have emerged indicating that the Silicon Valley Bank ignored repeated warnings from regulators that the bank would be at risk of collapse in the event that interest rates rose quickly. And this all things were discussed in the interview when Jerome Powell was live. Now listen guys, at the moment both Republicans and Democrats in Congress have raised questions about whether regulators ignored signs of troubles at the banks or failed to take appropriate actions in response to weakness that they see. Now it's going to be really interesting to see what the outcome of this is. But once again guys, at a macro level, it gave me this idea that the Federal Reserve Bank is doing everything it can in order to protect investors, whether you like it or not. And because of that, the prices of Bitcoin has gone down or not, you need to appreciate the fact that investors are going to be protected and average individual people, their funds are going to be saved. So the big question is, what kind of an impact did it have on the price of Bitcoin? As you can see guys, the prices of Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies did not pump up how I expected it to be, but it actually went down. And few days ago, Balaji Srinivasan, the former CTO of Coinbase, did actually send out a series of tweets, and he actually talked about hyperbitcoinization. Now what he's actually hoping for is in the next 90 days, listen to this guys, what he's really hoping for in the next 90 days, the entire banking industry to collapse. And we're talking about more than hundreds, maybe 200 banks in US that would go completely belly up. and people will start withdrawing funds, and if that thing happens, hyper-Bitcoinization would occur. But this might sound great if you're a Bitcoin maximalist, but think of an average individual person. Think of a daily worker. Their lifelong savings will be completely gone, and this, guys, is absolutely selfish. But once again, guys, and I've said this time and over again, the only reason Bitcoin maximalists and crypto enthusiasts want hyper-Bitcoinization is only because of one thing. If hyper-Bitcoinization actually happens, the price and the value of Bitcoin will increase, and in doing so, the existing net worth in Bitcoin and cryptocurrency increases. They are not concerned about people losing millions, if not billions of dollars in the banking industry collapse. But when you talk about hyper-Bitcoinization, you need to understand that it is a concept that envisions a world in which Bitcoin or other cryptocurrency becomes the dominant global currency, supplanting traditional fiat currencies issued by the government. Now, this term was popularized by Daniel Kraus, a software engineer and Bitcoin enthusiast, going back to 2014. And based on what Jerome Powell was explaining, I really doubt if you're ever going to have hyper-Bitcoinization, but never say never. Because I was doing some research, and in order for such a thing to happen, guys, surprisingly, it will not take a lot of time. It might just take maybe a few days, few hours, and maximum, even just a couple of days. And guys, you need to understand the basic idea behind hyper-Bitcoinization is that the unique features of Bitcoin, such as decentralized and censorship-resistant nature, its ability to facilitate fast and cheap cross-border transactions, and more importantly, its fixed nature of supply, makes it a superior form of money compared to fiat currencies that are subject to government control, inflation, and other issues. The proponents of hyper-Bitcoinization argue that as more people and businesses around the world adopt Bitcoin, it will become more valuable, widely accepted, leading to a snowball effect that will eventually displace traditional currencies. They also believe that Bitcoin's decentralized nature will lead to a more equitable financial system, and it will not be subject to whims of government or financial institutions. However, guys, it is worth noting that hyper-Bitcoinization is still a highly speculative concept, and there are many challenges that would need to be overcome for it to become a reality. Now, these challenges could be, let's say, regulatory hurdles, scalability issues, and the fact, guys, Bitcoin is still relatively difficult for many people to use and understand. You ask an average person in the road how to use Bitcoin, they will tell you what the price is, but they will not explain to you how to use it. Also, guys, there are some critics who argue that hyper-Bitcoinization would not necessarily lead to more equitable financial system, as early adopters and large Bitcoin holders could still wield significant power and influence. And one thing which I've been saying often, especially since the last few days, one of the reasons why Michael Saylor, Balaji Srinivasan, early adopters, multimillionaires and billionaires are creating the demand for Bitcoin is, as and when the demand for Bitcoin increases, people are going to buy more Bitcoin, and in doing so, their own existing net worth in Bitcoin would increase. Now, overall, hyper-Bitcoinization is an interesting and thought-provoking concept that does raise important questions about the future of money and the role of technology in shaping our financial systems. So what do you think, guys? Is hyper-Bitcoinization a positive development for the world's financial system, given its potential to create a more equitable and decentralized monetary system? But you also need to understand that more than 90% of existing supply of Bitcoin is already among selected individuals. So the second question is, would hyper-Bitcoinization have negative consequences for the global economy, such as increased volatility and uncertainty, and the potential for early adopters, multimillionaire celebrities and influencers to accumulate disappropriate wealth and power? What are your thoughts, guys? Mention them in the comments below. Now, guys, yesterday was a very critical date. Apart from the interest rate hike, there was also a war released on crypto, and Brian Armstrong, who's the CEO of Coinbase, he actually took to Twitter, and what he said was absolutely shocking. What he said was that Coinbase has received a wealth notice from Security Exchange Commission focused on staking and asset listing. What I'd really recommend you to do is read through a series of tweets, because a wealth notice typically precedes an enforcement action, but in this case it's the other way around. So it looks like SEC is definitely going after Coinbase, and MarketWatch, one of the leading publications, did actually report earlier today that Coinbase stock sank 16% after this news, and because of this, guys, Catherine Wood of ARK Investment Management decided to sell $13.5 million worth of Coinbase. After this announcement, now granted, she has made a lot of money, and if you were to compare the price since last year, she's definitely made a lot of money, but looks like the SEC is aggressively going after Coinbase and also after CEO and founder of Tron, Justin Tron, and Tron founder Justin Sun is sued by the US Securities Exchange Commission on securities on market manipulation, and CoinDesk has provided an article that states that the regulator alleged that TRX and BTT are unregistered security and claimed that Justin Sun created an extensive wash trading program to boost the trading volume. Now look us in the cryptocurrency industry. Justin Sun has a terrible name, and there is this funny video of Peter McCormack, the host of What Bitcoin Did. He actually asked Justin Sun to post a video calling his own coin, and now I'm not sure because of the language barrier, or if Justin Sun knew actually what he was talking about. So essentially in the video, he's actually calling his own Tron coin as shitcoin. But nonetheless, going back to the news, the US Securities and Exchange Commission has filed a lawsuit against Justin Sun, the founder of Tron Foundation, along with the foundation itself, the BitTorrent Foundation, and the BitTorrent, now known as Rainberry, for allegedly selling crypto tokens without registering them as securities with the SEC, and the tokens in question are TRX, the native token of the Tron blockchain network, and BTT, the token used to incentivize file sharing on the BitTorrent network. And the SEC also accused the defendants of fraudulent activity in connection with the trading of TRX, specifically the alleged engaged in a wash trading scheme in which they conducted a large number of trades between two accounts controlled by Sun. Now look guys, in the cryptocurrency world, particularly in the shitcoin world, and going back to the whole ICO era, this was happening quite a lot, and they did that in order to create the illusion of greater market activity and demand for the token. And Solana, guys, as you know, was notoriously known for doing similar things as well. Now, according to the court filing, Sun's own employees at the Tron Foundation conducted these trades, while employees at the BitTorrent Foundation and Rainberry helped to facilitate them by transferring funds for the trading. Now, the SEC has charged the defendants with violating security laws and is seeking injunctive relief, disgorgement of all ill-gotten gains, and civil penalties. The case is still ongoing and is going to be seen how it's going to be resolved. Now, however, guys, it serves as a reminder that regulators are closely scrutinizing the cryptocurrency industry and that the companies and individuals who engage in potentially fraudulent activities could face serious legal consequences. So it's going to be really interesting to see when and how this news develops. Now, guys, let's discuss news regarding Telegram. Now, Telegram has announced that USDT, the stablecoin payment network on Tron network, can now be used to send Tether's TRC token to Telegram accounts. Now, I tried to do that on Telegram, unfortunately, it did not work on my Telegram. And so at this point of time, I'm not sure if it is open to all locations. So essentially what's going to happen is, users can now send each other Tether's stablecoin. Now, the messaging app informed its customers that the wallet functions now supports USDT Tron, better known as TRC20, and Decrypt has provided an article, and Telegram will only support the assets on the Tron TRC20. Now look, guys, this, to be honest, is an absolutely brilliant use case of using cryptocurrencies. So let's say if you have a user or a friend or relative or colleague in Telegram, you can actually send them USDT using Telegram. This is an absolutely brilliant use case, bypassing banking industry or any central intermediary involved. Now you also need to remember, guys, that Telegram did actually introduce crypto to its app back in 2018 when it launched the Telegram Open Network, or called as TON. But this project was abandoned by 2020 by Telegram after the US Securities and Exchange Commission said that the initial offerings for the project was illegal. So those were the news, guys, at a macro level. Now let's look at news from UAE and the Middle East. Now the first news is about AmiWiz, and they have inked new partnership with Polysom for the Middle East. So let me try to give out some information. So the news is that AmiWiz has partnered with Polysom to provide malware protection in the Middle East. And AmiWiz website is amiwiz.com. That is A for Alpha, M for Mother, I for India, V for Video, I for India, Z for Zebra, Z for Z.com, and they claim to be the first B2B enterprise marketplace focused on cybersecurity business in the Middle East and Africa, designed specifically to serve the interests of enterprise resellers and vendors. And Polysom's website is polysom.io, that is P for Peter, O for Orange, L for Larry, Y for Yellow, S for Sugar, W for Water, A for Alpha, R for Roger, M for Mother.io. And Polysom is a marketplace for malware intelligence that uses blockchain technology. Now this partnership will address the growing demand for malware protection in the region, and Polysom's threat intelligence platform enables enterprises to combat emerging threats. The malware feed is a must-have for threat intelligence team with limited resources, and customers worldwide leverage Polyswarm for its multi-engine scanning and file-based vulnerability assessment. And guys, continuous fresh intelligence enables security teams to aggregate, manage, and operationalize responses to malware threats. And Amyverse is the first B2B enterprise marketplace focused on the cybersecurity industry in the Middle East, and the platform provides a unique collaboration platform through a mobile application on iOS and Android devices. And guys, Amyverse offers a one-of-a-kind consumer-style e-commerce platform with a fusion of human touch, whereas Polyswarm's disruptive crowdsourced approach to malware detection offers greater accuracy and speed. Let me try to give out some more information regarding partnership, because the technology does not require any skilled security talent to manage it, and with Polyswarm in the portfolio, Amyverse's channel partners can offer customers peace of mind, and the number of threats facing the Middle East, guys, is growing exponentially, and clients can now rest easily knowing that they have unparalleled visibility and protection against the most sophisticated attack. And guys, Polyswarm leverages blockchain technology to democratize malware intelligence, and the company enlists an extensive global network of experts malware researchers who receive rewards for their insights. And guys, with more comprehensive data, I'm pretty much sure Polyswarm would enable organizations to reduce the so-called noise and prioritize the cybersecurity efforts. So guys, what are your thoughts on this partnership? If you do have any feedback or comments or suggestions, mention them in the comments below. Now, the second news is all the way from Switzerland, and the news is that Switzerland's digital asset bank Sygnum opens Middle East hub in Abu Dhabi. Now, let me try to give out some more information. Now, the website for Sygnum is sygnum.com, that is S for sugar, Y for yellow, G for George, N for November, U for umbrella, M for mother.com. And Sygnum, guys, is claiming to be the world's first digital asset bank, and they are founded on Swiss and Singapore heritage. And Sygnum empowers its clients to invest in digital asset economy with complete trust. If you go to the website, they have two core areas that they focus on. They claim to be independent and scalable, and they have institutional level grade trust. So this news, guys, is absolutely massive, because Switzerland's digital asset management bank is opening up its Middle East hub in Abu Dhabi, and they're doing that in Abu Dhabi Global Market. And the bank received in-principle approval from Abu Dhabi Global Market in October 2022 to expand its operation in Abu Dhabi. Now, guys, Sygnum aims to tap into growing high-net-worthy individual population and increasingly crypto-active wealth management market in the region, and the bank will offer a portfolio of Swiss-regulated crypto banking services in the Middle East. Now, if you're a high-net-worthy individual, particularly in the cryptocurrency space, I really am not sure why you would want to use a banking service which is so-called centralized in nature, but nonetheless, Sygnum knows that the regional demand for regulated crypto assets is on the rise, and more than one-third of residents in the UAE alone are already invested in local crypto market. And Abu Dhabi, guys, as you know, has the potential to become a future regional and international hub for Web3, Metaverse, and blockchain projects. And Sygnum Bank Middle East will offer personal concierge-style services to clients in the region. Now, let me try to give out some more information, because the bank will enable customers to access a portfolio of Swiss-regulated digital asset banking, asset management, tokenization, and B2B banking services. And guys, if you're living in Dubai or UAE, you know that UAE has been attracting a growing number of wealthy individuals. Dubai in particular is home to 67,900 millionaires, 202 centimillionaires, and 13 billionaires. And this data is according to Henley & Partners, and more than 1,400 organizations and 7,000 individuals are working already in the UAE's crypto and blockchain space. And this data is according to Crypto Oasis. And ADGM, guys, is the largest regulated jurisdiction for digital assets in the MENA region, and Abu Dhabi Global Market, or ADGM, acts as a catalyst with the right tools that enables the growth of such companies within the UAE's financial sector. So they're definitely in the right place, but I really am not sure if they're at the right time, because right now, UAE is turning into a red ocean for companies offering crypto and blockchain services. It could be possible that maybe Saudi Arabia might be a good venture, but nonetheless, Sygnum's regulated finance offering in Abu Dhabi is a significant addition to the community and will contribute to the growth of the region, and the bank's move reflects the increasing adoption of digital assets and blockchain technology in the region. And the Middle East, guys, as I just mentioned earlier, is becoming a key market for crypto and blockchain related services, and Sygnum's move to Abu Dhabi will mark a strategic expansion for the bank, but it'd be really cool if they actually move to Saudi Arabia. So those were the news, guys, on the Crypto and Coffee at 8 from Blockchain DXB. In case if you have any feedback or suggestions, please drop me an email to info@blockchaindxp.com. Check out my website www.blockchaindxp.com, and also check out my other website area2071.com that talks everything about Metaverse. And if you like listening to this podcast, please click on the follow button, give it a 5-star rating, and share the word across. Now for the next few minutes is going to be an Ask Me Anything series, where you listeners can ask any questions regarding Bitcoin, blockchain, beyond blockchain, cryptocurrencies, NFTs, DeFi, and Metaverse. So let's get started with the Ask Me Anything series. Hey everyone, it's George from Blockchain DXB. Listening to the Ask Me Anything series, where you listeners can ask any questions regarding Bitcoin, blockchain, beyond blockchain, cryptocurrencies, NFTs, DeFi, and Metaverse. I have a question by Chad who asks, besides Fed, are there any external factors that could bring down the crypto market for the rest of the year? Definitely yes, Chad. There could be a number of reasons. The first thing that immediately pops out to the mind is the geopolitical situation that is going on between Russia and Ukraine. And earlier today, there was also this news that Russia is currently working with China, and they are deciding to have the transactions done in digital yuan. Now, if that thing happens, I really am not sure. Where does cryptocurrency fit into it? We were initially talking about that Russia will start using Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies. Because of that, the prices of Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies will pump up. But looks like Russia and China are definitely turning out to be allies, and rather than using the US dollar, they are working on digital yuan. And if you know China's stance on Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies, it is definitely not looking good. That is one area. Other than that, there could be numerous other factors. One news that is going on in the political world right now is the arrest of President Donald Trump. Now look guys, I do think that he's the greatest president of all time, and if that thing happens, I'm pretty much sure there's going to be civil unrest like none other. Now that could work in favor of Bitcoin, or it could work against the price of Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies as well. And you never know, Chad, we did live through a world of pandemic, or spamdemic I like to call it. It could be possible that in the next coming months, years, or even in the next few days, there might be another outbreak of event. Because of that, the prices of Bitcoin or cryptocurrencies could completely go down as well. You just never know. There could be possibility of hyperbitcoinization that literally might occur in any given amount of time. And in order for the value of US dollar to go down, it does not have to take a lot of time. It can happen in 24 hours. There have been several instances where the value of the currency has gone down in just a matter of few hours, in just a matter of days as well. So quite a lot of things. Even World War III is a possibility right now, because if you look at it, how the world is divided right now, the world is divided between left-wing ideologies, a woke generation, and right-wing ideologies and intellectuals. So it could be possible that any of these instances could trigger the price of Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies either in a positive way or in a negative way. What about alien invasion? Is that a possibility? I really don't know. So any of these factors could actually trigger the prices of Bitcoin either to go up or to go down. Also, keeping all the chaos that is going on in the banking industry, let's say if one of the banking giants do actually acknowledge about Bitcoin and start to put Bitcoin as a reserve, it could definitely pump the price of Bitcoin and cryptocurrency to the moon as well. Now, will they do that? I really am not sure, because in doing that, they would actually reduce the value of their own fiat currency. But anyways, those were my thoughts regarding your question. And that's all for today, guys, on the Ask Me Anything series from Blockchain DXB. In case if you have any feedback or suggestions, please drop me an email to info@blockchaindxb.com. Check out my website www.blockchaindxb.com, and also check out my other website area2071.com that talks everything about Metaverse. And if you like listening to this podcast, please click on the follow button, give it a 5-star rating, and share the word across. And remember guys, Monday to Thursdays, 8 a.m. to 8:30 a.m. we have Crypto and Coffee at 8, where we cover top news and information pertaining to the price of cryptocurrencies, some major breaking news, occasionally short and sweet news as well, news that has an impact in the cryptocurrency world. The other two news and information is related to Dubai, UAE, and Middle East in the world of Bitcoin, blockchain, beyond blockchain, cryptocurrencies, NFTs, DeFi, and Metaverse. And what you're listening to right now is the Ask Me Anything series, where you listeners can ask any questions regarding Bitcoin, blockchain, beyond blockchain, cryptocurrencies, NFTs, DeFi, and Metaverse. Thanks so much for listening, guys, and have a nice one. Bye-bye.